Hey guys, it's Tixie here and welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to be doing something completely different to what I've had on the channel so far, and I'm going to be doing a review of the Vanguard beta. Now I know that there's been a lot of gameplay videos across Vanguard and a lot of other review videos recently, so I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible and just kind of go through what I've noticed. I'm sure I probably won't mention too much that nobody else has already mentioned, but I wanted to do this because I always had the plan that I'd have a little bit of stuff like this on the channel. Like I've already mentioned, there will be a Black Ops Cold War review at some point, so I thought, you know, why not do a Vanguard beta review? So I've got some gameplay running in the background, but today it's just going to be me chatting through my thoughts. So initially, obviously we know that the Vanguard beta is running on the Modern Warfare engine, and the movement feels really good, to be honest, and obviously it makes sense considering that's the engine that Warzone runs on, and I think, you know, that's the most popular mode for Call of Duty now, and a lot of players probably have played Modern Warfare previously, or at least Warzone. So I think if they pick this game up and the movement feels the same, I think that's a boost straight away for any new players or any sort of players coming to the game that maybe didn't like Cold War or just generally like Warzone. In terms of other good things they've brought in a combat pacing system. So basically there's tactical, assault and blitz, and depending on which pacing option you filter by depends what sort of games you're going to get into. So tactical is kind of the normal basic 6v6, assault is kind of more sort of 8v8, sometimes 10v10, and then blitz, again, depending on the map, can sometimes be 10v10, but can go all the way up to sort of 24 versus 24 on a really big map. And I think it's a really cool addition to the game, in my opinion. It lets you, like I say, filter on what you want, and it gives you that kind of choice of what you want to play, instead of having to maybe wait, like Modern Warfare, you needed to be in the 10v10 Mosh Pit playlist, or on Cold War we had to wait for a 12v12 playlist to come out. But now it's just kind of like, if you want to go absolutely crazy, you can go into blitz. If you want to take it easy and standard, you go into tactical, and then if you want to sort of be in the middle somewhere, then you can sort of go into the assault mode. And I just think that's a really cool thing they've added in. The only thing I think that would improve it is if it actually put you in what you chose, you know, because you can kind of filter on all of them, so it puts you in a mixture of the three, or you can filter on just one. And for me, sometimes you'd be filtered on blitz and it'd put you in a 6v6, or you'd be filtered on 6v6, it'd put you in blitz. So that was a little bit frustrating, but apart from that, I think it's a really good option and a good thing that they've added into the game. In terms of the maps, I personally wasn't the biggest fan of the maps. However, they already seem to be built a lot better than the ones we had in Modern Warfare, and I think with some improved spawns, I feel that the maps that they had in the beta, which was Eagle's Nest, Hotel Royale, Gavutu and Red Star, I think they could be decent maps with better spawns. Apart from Red Star is just too big. You play 24 versus 24 on Red Star, and you feel like you can't find anyone. So I think that map's chalked from the beginning. But the other three, I think they could definitely be decent maps. I think Eagle's Nest was probably my favourite. Hotel Royale was a bit better if you sort of stayed on the top part of the map instead of going into kind of the bottom part where there was lots of angles to cover. And Gavutu, it was kind of okay. At times it felt a little bit big, but I think it was just mainly spawns that need to be kind of improved. In terms of game modes, as always, I didn't really touch Team Deathmatch or Kill Confirmed, so I don't really like them. I also didn't play any search because I'm not a massive search and destroy player. The spawns on Domination seemed okay in 6v6, but I think with a larger player count, they were not ideal. I mean, at the end of the day, Domination to me is a really simple game mode where you can control spawns depending on what flags you've got, but it didn't seem to quite work like that with larger player counts. In terms of the game mode Patrol, the spawns were absolutely carnage, which, you know, at times when 4 or 5 guys spawn in front of you and you get a quad feed, you know, it's kind of funny, but after a while it gets a little bit boring, especially if you know, spawn in 4 or 5 times in a row and you can't even move. So, you know, I think that the spawns definitely need a lot of work, and like I said earlier, I think the spawns would improve some of the maps. So I think at the moment, you know, I don't want to go too hard on sort of the game mode / the maps. I just think that the spawns probably need looking at, and then I would imagine Domination will play like it always has. But I understand with like larger player counts, it probably is a little bit more difficult to get the spawns right, and especially in a game of like Patrol, where there's a constant, like the hard point is constantly moving. It's not like a normal hard point where maybe you spawn them out for the next one, or you try and flip the spawns. There's so much going on and it's constantly moving, so I don't really know how they fine-tune the spawns for that game mode, but hopefully they do look at it, because at the moment it is pretty bad. And presuming they're in the game on release, I imagine I'll probably spend most of my time in Hardpoint and Control again. I assume Hardpoint will be back because that is one of the best modes for competitive, and I did see a rumour that Control is going to be in the game again as well, which I'm really happy about if it is, but that is only a rumour at the moment, so take that with a pinch of salt. In terms of the audio is absolutely chalked. It's just generally really bad. I mean, I don't really need to say much about it. You could have somebody next to you with unsilenced weapon, and they're firing it, and you don't even know they're there. You don't even know they're behind you. It's all just about, you know, predicting where people are going to be, and sort of having a little bit of luck as well. But in terms, you know, it was just really, really bad. You know, Call of Duty is massively about audio. It's not even about footsteps being quiet. I mean, footsteps being quiet is absolutely fine, but not being able to hear when someone's firing an unsilenced weapon just seems ridiculous to me. But I think Sledgehammer did say they were aware of it, but it wasn't going to be fixed in time for the open beta, because I think a lot of people complained about it on the early access PlayStation 4 beta a week earlier. So hopefully when the actual game comes out, it'll be okay. In terms of the guns, I didn't really use that many weapons. The Thompson was definitely viable in terms of an SMG, but the MP40 for me was easily the best gun in the game. I didn't really use much of the STG assault rifle. It was a fairly decent weapon when I used it, but like I said, the MP40 just seemed so overpowered that it could beam you from up close and beam you from distance. And I think that there's definitely going to need to be a little bit of weapon balancing when the game comes out, but you know, when is there not kind of a gun that's dominating on Call of Duty? I think whatever COD you play, there's always a gun that dominates at some point, then they nerf it, but they'll buff something else and that'll become meta. So I think, I don't want to go, like I said, too hard on the guns. It's only a beta, but the MP40 definitely felt sort of more powerful than the rest of the weapons in the game. I think sniping would be fun with faster ADS speeds. I didn't really snipe too much. I did see, I think, a clip on Twitter of someone using the Car 98 fully maxed out, and that seemed a lot faster once it was fully maxed out. So I think sniping would be fun. It feels very similar to Modern Warfare, like I say, with the engine and that. So, and I think sniping in Modern Warfare was lots and lots of fun. So I think it'll be the same in this game. Unfortunately, the sprint out times were really, really poor, so I'm hoping they fix that in time for release, because you are currently being punished if you kind of move and sprint around the map. I mean, you can still be aggressive, but if someone's posted up or somebody's, you know, pre-aimed or just sort of just walking around the map, you know, aimed in, then you know you're going to lose the gunfight. I mean, you're always at a disadvantage if you're sprinting, but with the short time to kill in this game, you know, if someone's already pre-aimed, you're dead. With the current sprint to fire times, you don't even stand a chance. So hopefully they can sort of do something with that to kind of help those that want to play aggressive or players that want to run around, because if not, it's going to slow the game down massively, and that's not really what we want. As I just mentioned, the time to kill I think is a little bit too fast, and the headshot multiplier is way too high. You know, if you hit headshot, then you're just, you know, you're killing someone in like 1 or 2 shots. It's absolutely ridiculous. I hope they do something with this for release, but I don't think the time to kill will change. I think that's probably quite a big thing to sort out, but hopefully they can sort out the headshot multiplier at least. On PC, especially for myself, and I did see a lot of other people moaning about this, there was a lot of packet burst issues, which I think did ruin the experience a lot for me. There was a lot of laggy moments, and for me it caused a lot of inconsistency in gunfights, especially with bullets not registering. I mean, like I've just said, the time to kill is so fast, but sometimes, you know, you'd be, you know, running around the map, going like a 3 or 4 kill streak, beaming kids, and then you'd get into a gunfight, and it's just like, it's like your bullets were registering in terms of they were firing and you were getting the hit markers, but it felt like they weren't registering in terms of doing any damage. It was really, really weird, and definitely something that needs to be looked into, because I don't think I played a single game where there wasn't packet burst issues. And initially I thought maybe I was just lagging, but I did see a lot of other people kind of moaning about this, so hopefully that's something they can look at. But you know, there's always server issues with Call of Duty, and obviously it was a beta, so the whole point of a beta is obviously to get feedback, so hopefully they can look into that stuff. So they're kind of my main points today. I think overall the game is going to play very similar to Modern Warfare, but I don't think it'll be quite as slow as in the beta at least, the mounting and sort of doors didn't seem to be such of a problem as they were in Modern Warfare, and obviously Ghost does force you to move now compared to Modern Warfare where you could just sit in the corner. Obviously it's only a beta. I'm not the biggest fan of them. I know that they're good in terms of getting kind of feedback, but you know, my experience wasn't amazing on the game, and I think it kind of ruins as well that kind of excitement around the release, you know, of getting a new game. You can't wait for it. If you've played loads and loads on the beta, you know, you've already experienced it, and it kind of takes a little bit of that away when the game's released. But yeah, it's a beta. I don't want to put it down too badly. I think the game will be okay if they can fine-tune some of these issues before release. I think the only problem I see from a multiplayer perspective is that obviously Warzone is the biggest game mode now. It's the most popular mode. It's the money maker for the developers and Activision, and at the end of the day, everyone's going to be absolutely buzzing for the new release of obviously the new map. And obviously the anti-cheat system that's coming, and I think with all that happening, they're going to want to make the Warzone integration as smooth as possible and make sure that they don't get that wrong or mess any of that up. And I know Raven are kind of working on that, and Sledgehammer are more on multiplayer, but I'm just hoping that multiplayer doesn't get overlooked, because if the game is bad on release, people are just going to use it to level up their weapons for Warzone, they're probably going to have a bad experience whilst doing that, and once Warzone drops, they're just not going to come back. And I don't think multiplayer is dead, but I just think it does kind of get overlooked a little bit nowadays, with obviously Warzone being such a good game mode. But you know, we know stuff like skill-based matchmaking is going to be there. At the end of the day, you just have to get on with that and, you know, enjoy the game for what it is. But I think as long as they can fine-tune some of the issues that I've mentioned today, I think the game will be good, and I think it will be definitely playable. But if they don't, and it's like this on release, it could be really, really bad news, especially if, you know, like I said, with the Warzone integration, you know, they're going to want that to go smoothly. So I imagine they'll be putting all their resources they can into that. And if that goes smoothly and multiplayer is not any good, I don't think you're going to get many players coming back, apart from maybe trying to level up weapons for Warzone, basically. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. I'm sure, like I said, I haven't mentioned anything other people haven't done today, but I kind of, you know, wanted to do this, and I've already kind of mentioned that I want to do a review of Black Ops Cold War, so I felt like it was good to do a review of the Vanguard beta, and I didn't really pick up any crazy gameplay, so this will be the only video I do regarding the beta. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please do hit the like button down below, and let me know in the comments if you played the Vanguard beta. How did you feel? You know, do you agree with what I've said? Do you disagree? You know, let me know down in the comments. And if you are brand new around here and want to find your way back for more, please do consider subscribing to the channel. As always, I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.